Hey golfers, I'm Drew Mahowald with Second Swing Golf out here at the driving range at Braemar Golf Course, joined by Jake Montgomery, fitting manager at the Minneapolis store, for another fun video for you today. A comparison of two drivers. One is fresh, brand new on the market, and then one's been out there now for almost 2 years we're talking about here. So I've got the G430 LST, one of our fitters' favorite low spin drivers that's been in the fitting bay since the beginning of 2023. And then you've got the Titleist GT3, fresh, brand new, both kind of in that low spin category, players that are seeking, to control that spin and maybe a compact head shape as well. But certainly some differences that we need to talk about today during this test. So first of all, Jake, G430 LST, what's the big takeaway that you've seen in fitting this last year and a half?
So what I've seen is low spin but forgiving. Like if you're looking for a real low spin driver but you don't tend to hit the center of the face super frequently, that's a place that I go a lot, especially with the ability to adjust the lie angle with the loft. So if I have a player that tends to hit really spinny cuts or slices, I'll take that 9 degree and loft it up to 10.5, or even take the 10.5, loft it up to 12, because it's going to shut that face quite a bit, and it still offers that low spin property with an adjustable weight track on the back there. It helps a ton as far as moving the center of gravity. And then the spin consistency on the face. Whether you hit it low on the face, it's going to usually bring the spin up. If you hit it high on the face, it's usually going to drop it down. It helps get that more consistent across the board to give you more predictable ball flight.
Yeah, there's a ton of advantages with this thing too, and it's been like you've said, all those reasons. It's been a big time winner in the fitting bay. So it's another one of those. We've talked about that with TSR in the past. We're like, I don't know how Ping is going to top this with whatever they had come next, in the low spin category. But now Titleist GT3, brand new here in the second half of 2024. In testing with that and what you've seen from it, what are the big takeaways that golfers should know about with this driver?
Yeah, so what I've seen with this guy is it is fast. We're seeing really, really good ball speeds, especially even off the heel or the toe. With their variable face thickness, it's really helping maintain that ball speed. Really low spin. It offers a more traditional look. Like if you don't like the turbulators on the top of that, this is another great option to get you into, because look is a big part of this. They now both feature a multi-material crown now that has the CarbonFly. This has the Thermoform. So they're both putting more weight down on the bottom of the driver, lowering the center of gravity and bringing it a little bit more forward to help reduce that spin rate. The TSR and the G430 LST have really been battling it out in the low spin category for the last 2 years. They probably made up 80% of my sales in that category.
Really?
So I'm really excited to see how this GT3 stacks up to that G430 and how the possible new Ping will stack up.
There we go. Yeah, this is what you just said is making me think this is a great idea for a test. So head to head, G430 LST, GT3. Let's get after it.
Let's do it.
Hit it solid though. Yeah. Spin stayed low there on the right ball.
It did. And that push never really bugs me too much, because that usually doesn't get me in too much trouble. It's the left that gets moving way
The left,
off
because
line.
it can dive and you can lose distance on it. That one, you didn't lose any distance by any means there.
No.
One-handed finish?
Yep, that was a shank.
Was it?
Did that go on hole 9?
It looks fine.
Really?
Yeah. You carried 266, 1900 spin to 296. Both of those balls are obviously right on the dispersion map.
Shout out to Titleist, because I hit that ball about right here.
Yeah, it's obviously, both of those balls are obviously right and far right to a degree, but for a shank, so to speak, you almost hit it 300 yards.
Okay.
So.
That's a little better. I'm just missing right now.
It's a piercing ball flight. Here we go. 2200 spin, 266. That one's a little bit more of what you're looking for there, I think.
Yeah.
Just haven't had one quite turn back all the way to the middle, so to speak.
No.
But
and to keep in mind, I do have both these drivers set very flat, very open.
That's
just
true.
to help avoid left.
Yep. Oh yeah.
That was set pretty good.
Another one just out to the right a tiny bit, but you hit it really good. 270 carry, 2469 spin, 296 total. Pretty darn good.
Yeah, I think I just have this thing set a little flat, because good shots
it's
are
definitely
just leaning a little right.
Yeah, which, spoiler alert, the adjustable hosel on your driver can impact your ball flight.
Yeah.
And
change it to pretty good bounce.
So yeah, it's good to know that the adjustments are, at least for this one, the GT3, are working.
Yeah.
You're trying to avoid left and you're avoiding left.
It is doing it.
Oh yeah.
Just a little right again.
Yep, 263 carry, 2303 spin on that one, out to a total of 286. All right, so let's look at these averages. What did you think, hitting the GT3 and what we saw in the numbers there? Any big takeaways that you had?
I mean, I'd say just off the face, it feels real solid.
Yeah.
Titleist did not sacrifice any feel, adding that kind of composite crown to it. It doesn't feel hollow or like thuddy, like a lot of other kind of carbon drivers can. Still has a very responsive feel. Looks great. Numbers are pretty in line with where I'd expect this loft to be. I saw a little bit more of a push than I'm used to seeing, but I did set this up to be very anti-left, as my miss lately has been pretty left. So I mean, it performed kind of exactly how I thought it to. Spin rate, I'm guessing, is like right around 2400. Launch around like 10 to 11.
Yeah, so the spin there was 2154 average.
Oh, wow.
And then the launch was about 10.9 or 11, essentially. So kind of what you thought, right? A little bit lower launching in the sense on the average. I'll look at the carry here. Carry at 270 and the total at 294. So those are pretty good numbers, all things considered.
Yeah, that's pretty bang on to what I usually see.
Yeah, apex height at 91 feet. So we have some good numbers here. Now, again, I think if you were to do a true club fitting, you would obviously change maybe a couple things to get that dispersion move a little bit over to the left. But we've got it in the flat as well, the G430 LST here. So we're playing them as similar as we can. Comparable shafts, right? So, yeah, let's get to the G430.
Let's do it.
All right, G430 LST there. That's only carried 234.
Came out a little lower.
Yeah, definitely came out lower. But it was, on the straighter side. I mean, you've got that one to turn over versus any of the GT3s. So obviously just the low launch there decreased your carry distance quite a bit versus the others.
Yep. Impressions down to the ball. Definitely notice this is a little bit bigger. A lot more going on.
To have a larger
turbulators,
footprint.
CarbonFly, 100%. Looks like the face is a little bit deeper as well, but it could be just kind of the extra white scoring lines there. That was better.
Yeah, that's a lot better. Should see more carry yardage on that one. Yes, sir. 254 on that one. Hitting it a lot straighter. I mean, you're turning it over.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by that. How, obviously we've, I guess let's kind of go over exactly the settings that we've done here, just so the viewers know, because if they see this big difference, they're going to kind of be like, what's going on there?
100%. So I have both of these set to 10 degrees. That is a 10-degree driver flat that I just set to the flattest lie angle.
Okay.
This I have set at 10 degrees plus the flat setting. So
got it.
On the other side of this adjuster, there's a flat +1, flat, and then flat -1.
Yeah, okay.
This is that flat 10 degrees with the weight in the toe.
Gotcha, okay, makes sense. So that's right. So the stated lofts on these are different, right?
Correct.
We have a 9 and a 10. So the GT3 is a 10-degree driver that's just set flat. And then the G430 LST is a standard 9-degree that's flat plus. So it's a flat setting, but also up a degree in loft.
Yeah. So I should say for the viewers, flat settings or flatter clubs tend to go more right.
Yes.
More upright clubs tend to go more left.
Yes, correct. Okay.
That one I left a little right.
Yep. It looks like it'll be
heel.
over there with the GT3s.
Yep. Spin rate still remained pretty good despite it being out of the heel.
Yeah, 25.47 on that one. 256 carry, 284 total.
Okay.
And you said you caught that one in the heel?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good heel ball there.
What was the smash track?
Granted for distance. 147.
Okay.
So.
That one I turned over a bit more.
Yep. Yeah, you're definitely able to turn over this one for whatever reason a lot better than the GT3. That got that one to roll out to 277. So yeah, this lower launch though, and able to turn it over is also maybe taking down some distance.
For sure. I mean, you can see why I like to play something flatter, because when it goes left, I lose all my carry.
Yeah. Ooh, there's a good ball.
Just a little push, but caught very well.
A little push. Yeah, there's a good ball there. Yep. 264 carry, 2097 spin, out to 291. Okay. So let's kind of compare here. I already know for a fact just by looking at this thing, the GT3 is going to have a little bit more distance. I think a lot of that's just because it was in the air a little bit longer.
For sure.
All right, so let's talk, I guess, what are you most interested in seeing here of the data? I mean, Anything particular that you're curious about?
I'd be most curious about the variance and spin.
Okay, variance and spin. We can do that. So carry GT3 was 270 to 250.
Okay.
The total was 294 to 281. So we had a big difference. And again, that was just because of the ball staying in the air as much as it did. But spin rate, let's go into that. So GT3 was a little bit lower spin by about 100 RPM on average, 2154 to 2252. So that says something, right? Because the G430 actually able to turn over a little bit more, but it still spun a little bit more. So I think that says maybe the G430 is a little bit, I guess, higher spinning of the two, which as a more forgiving low spin, I mean, it's still a low spin number.
Oh, for sure.
So it's it generates low spin, but I think it's a little bit more forgiving, and you might see a tad more spin to keep it consistent that way.
Yeah, I mean, I would say generally if we're trying to kill spin, we're looking at TSR or now GT.
Yeah.
If we're looking for low spin benefit with forgiveness, we're generally going to this G430, so that doesn't shock me too much. So there was a pretty big carry difference there. What was the peak height difference in the two?
Yeah, that's a good thing to go over here. 91 to 67 on average. So those low ones that your turnover were definitely staying low.
For sure.
GT3 was able to stay in the air a little bit better, and that's the big reason for the difference in the distance here. So.
I will say though, the G430 felt like it was a little easier to correct my miss, especially right now.
Yeah.
It's a little easier to turn over for me. Say balls were just going a little straighter overall.
Yeah, they were definitely going straighter. Your dispersion pattern's a lot better. You're obviously, it's tighter with the GT3 up to the right there, but you had it a lot straighter and more balls, I would say, in play or between the trees, if you will.
Yep, 100%.
With the G430 there. So
how do the ball speeds compare?
Ball speed is a good one we should cover here. Ball speed, slightly faster with the GT3, 162.6 to 161.7. Yeah. But pretty comparable overall there. Yep. And you were swinging the GT3 slightly faster, so it's probably pretty similar in the ball speed department. So, I will bring up the spin rate in terms of each shot individually. So with the G430 LST, you know, you had, let's see, we had 2054, 2678, 2547, 1886, 2097. So, you know, a couple mid 2000s, and otherwise just right around 2000. Yep. For the GT there. And then if we go to, oops, I'm messing up here, sorry. Okay. Then if you go to the GT3, 1800 or 1854, 1913, 2230, 2469, you kind of just went up and up and up the whole way there. Yeah. With the GT3. So under in the 1800s up to the 2400s, so it's kind of similar, right? Yeah. You had, you know, couple low, couple high, but ranging around that low 2000s mark for the most part on all of them. So nothing really super fluctuated between each of them, but saw maybe just a little bit more spin overall with the G430.
Yeah, I would say the G430 overall just felt more forgiving to me as well. Missed strikes felt more solid. Yeah. I was able to hit them a little bit straighter. And I would also say this kind of goes to show why getting fit is so important. You can see the difference in height caused me to lose 20 yards of carry. So like if I saw those numbers of myself in the bay, I go, okay, immediately I need to go grab the 10.5 degree head, set that to even maybe flat or even plus one flat, just to help get more height on there to gain that carry back. Because I liked what I saw dispersion-wise out of the G430. I liked what I saw height-wise out of the GT3. So you're able to kind of tweak everything to get your numbers right where you want them to. And when you get them right, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the beginning of a club fitting, right? So we know, of course, either one of these clubs you can go get fit for at second swing and you'll be able to dial things in exactly how you want. So pretty good test here. You got some good numbers, draw some conclusions. But of course, it's going to work differently for you, the viewer. So go get that fitting, whether it's G430 LST, whether it's GT3 from Titleist. We got the options for you. We got the shaft for you. We have all the specs that you need to improve your performance off the tee. So Jake, thanks for joining today and hitting the tee shots.
Thanks for having me.